Yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of Mind of a Gamer, host of When Persona Speaks, fellow TOA member. And yo, man, we are back with another episode of When Persona Speaks, episode 19. Uh, we're getting up there in the episodes with this one. Just last week, man, we just had the MOGBOYz, we had our 1 year anniversary of the Mind of a Gamer podcast, which was really, really dope. Really good, man. Got a lot of respect for these guys, man. They definitely do their thing, man. They definitely are official when it comes to what they do, like individually, and when it comes to the podcast and what they bring to the podcast and what they bring to the table is definitely something that I'm definitely appreciative of, because I always say it all the time. Without my panel, MOGBOYz wouldn't be what it is. Oh my, we got the dislikes coming in today. Ooh, I don't know where that came from. But yeah, man, it's definitely, it's definitely great to be with the MOGBOYz for this long. And we can only go up from here, man. We definitely gonna keep the podcast going. It's definitely gonna improve with time, like with everything. Especially if it's something that you really care about. You definitely want to take your time and do what you do with it. But oh man, yo, the dislikes is coming through today. Oh man, I love it. I love it. But yeah. So it's Thursday. You guys already know, man. Thursdays, I like to do When Persona Speaks. Uh, and this week is definitely going to be a very special week, just because it's E3. E3 is pretty much right around the corner. You feel me? And with E3 being right around the corner, excitement, game announcements, all that good stuff is pretty prevalent, and it's all around us, and it's out there heavy. And we did talk about E3, like we did me. It was me, Mr. Official, Demigod Reviews. It was who else was it? Oh yeah, it was Upchuck, and it was J Dub. Shout out to J Dub, man. It was definitely really good to have those boys, J Dub and Upchuck, on the podcast. It was definitely good to have them on, man. Really good dudes, man. Really got a lot of respect for them. Definitely can't gotta shout them out, definitely. Um, Yo, what's good, Playbox? But yeah, so with that being said, man, here we got E3 2018. It's right around the corner. It's funny because I thought E3 was going to start on Sunday, but turns out E3 starts on Saturday, technically, because who goes? Oh, EA goes on Saturday, and then Microsoft and Bethesda Sunday, and then Monday is Sony, Square Enix. Yeah, Sony, Square Enix. It's who else is it Monday? It's Ubisoft. Those are normally the dudes that go on Monday. Which is, it's always good. It's always good that, we already know that Sony always goes on Monday. That's nothing new. But I wanted to, give like final thoughts on E3, with everything leading up. And I'm only going to talk about Sony, Xbox, and Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo in terms of their conferences, respectfully. Because the other conferences in terms of like Bethesda and EA and all that, like that's more so just games, and you know that with those conferences you're going to get the games, or you're going to get game announcements, release dates, and things like that. I kind of just want to focus a little bit more on the big three, for this, and it's not going to be like super in depth, just because we all we have our reservations and our thoughts and stuff like that for E3. But I definitely wanted to give like final thoughts. It's Thursday, so I definitely wanted to give final thoughts. So first, I want to talk about the leaks, because I said this on Twitter. I think it was last week. I said this on Twitter, but I was talking about like how like this E3, or this year has been like it's been really like really bad when it comes to leaks, man. Like it's been in like this. I said this was the leakiest. I don't even know if that's a word. I assume that's a word. It's been the leakiest E3 time that we've ever had so far, at least for me, from what I've like seen and what I've witnessed and noticed. Which that isn't normally. It can be like a good and bad thing depending, because if you're someone that doesn't really care about being surprised, then it's like the leaks don't really bother you, because it's like whatever, it's leaks, whatever. I still want to see the game, I still want to see the gameplay, whatever. But then you have other people like my boy Mr. Official, shout out to him, where you know he tries his hardest just to stay away from leaks, like even with like comic book movies and stuff like that. Like he doesn't like knowing anything. He doesn't want to talk, especially if he hasn't seen it. He doesn't want to know anything, whatever. Which I get. And I'm kind of like that in terms of like leaks and stuff like that. Just because sometimes you do want to be surprised, depending on like how much you put into like E3s and stuff like that. I'm someone where like if I see a leak, am I gonna be like pissed off and like mad and walking around doom and gloom? No, I'm not. But depending what the leak is or what I read or what I see, I may be like, damn man, I'm kind of mad that this leaked, just because I kind of wanted this to be a surprise. But and it's funny because I say that, but then it's like when I watch E3 and I'll see that same game that leaked or whatever on stage and they're showing gameplay and stuff like that, I'm still like surprised and still like in awe and stuff like that. So it doesn't. It's like it goes both ways, I guess, when it comes to the leaks. But it definitely, this year has definitely been bad. And when it comes to leaks, even the stuff that's been like fake, because there has been like a lot of fake stuff that's been roaming around, a lot of fake things that have been being thrown out there, outlandish things like every year. Every year you always get like, that specific pocket of people or sites that like to throw crazy, outrageous leaks out there that people tend to run with. But this year it's even worse than that. Persona is leaking. Playbox. But even like now, like it's even this year, like it's even worse than that, because you always, like I said, you always get those people that's gonna make up outlandish things, but it's even more than that now. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be a good sign and bad sign, that there's more people paying attention to E3, more people paying attention to gaming, or more trolls. I don't know which one it is, but it's definitely something that I do feel going into next year, I think definitely needs to be kind of put a lid on just a little bit more. I feel, just because I don't know. Like it's sometimes it's like you don't even know what to believe anymore. Like even the stuff that is accurate, like you gotta like really check and make sure, like, is this true? Is this accurate? Is this whatever? But I don't know. Me personally, I'm still excited for E3. I'm still someone that gets hype. I'm still someone that, I say it all the time. E3 is like it's like gamers' Christmas. It's like my Christmas. Christmas is in December for most people in the world. Christmas for me is in June, when you get to see all the amazing games and see all the development processes, the dev interviews and things like that, the dev diaries and all those different things. Like, being able to see the spotlight shine on developers and how hard they work and the things that they do in these different games, the technological leaps and bounds that they get over, the new ideas, the new creativity, the imagination, all those different things is definitely something that's really good to see and really good to experience. Especially me being someone that's gone to a couple of like conventions myself, both Comic-Con, PSX, different conventions like that, and just being around those people and being around like-minded individuals like that, and just having that type of being around people that have the mindset or appreciate and enjoy the same things that you do is definitely a good thing. So even just watching it, you can still, especially when you see passionate developers get interviewed, or passionate developers on stage talking about their games, you can always see it. Like, you can always see the passion from developers, especially when they speak about their games, because most developers, they'll speak and it's passion. You'll see it in their eyes, you hear it in the words that they say and things like that. So it's always a good thing to experience that and see that. But yeah, so with that being said, man, I do want to go into the big three, because this year so far, gaming wise, this year has been it's been very weird. I'll say, just to say the least, because Sony this year has been killing it in terms of game releases, in terms of Metacritic scores, in terms of quality, in terms of perception, in terms of marketing and advertisement. Sony has been killing it this year, just like they've been doing it last year, the year before, and things like that. And as for Nintendo, in terms of game releases, they've had what did they have released this year? Kirby released. They got Octopath Traveler that's releasing later on this summer. They've got Mario Tennis. They got Super Smash Bros. I think Metroid's releasing this year. So this year for Nintendo has also been good in terms of like games and stuff like that. And in terms of like perception between Nintendo and Sony, the perception with them has been very, very good. For Microsoft, unfortunately, we're I don't how do I say this like in a polite way? Microsoft hasn't been able to deliver on. They haven't been able to deliver. I'll just say that they haven't been able to deliver the quality that we've grown to expect from these consoles, especially when you look at the competition, and then you look at Microsoft, and it's like, well, I mean, what's going on, So Microsoft has definitely not had a great year so far in terms of game releases, Metacritic scores, perception, things like that. It definitely hasn't been a great year for them. I'm gonna leave Microsoft for last because Microsoft is kind of going to be long-winded in terms of their conference and how I'm going to view their conferences, things like that. I'll start with Nintendo, because Nintendo's in a weird position for me right now, because I bought a Switch last year. I bought Mario Odyssey. I bought Zelda. I bought Mario plus Rabbids. I've got what's that other game? Kirby. I'm getting Octopath Traveler, and I might get that Mario Tennis. I said I wasn't going to get it. I did say I wasn't going to pick it up, but I seen some more gameplay, and I was watching one of my boys play it, and I was like, damn, man, this looks really dope. This looks really, really dope. So I wanted to try the demo, but the demo isn't in the store anymore, or you had to have a voucher, or however that went, whatever. So I couldn't play it myself. So I said I may pick it up just to chance it and take a chance on the game. But then I'm like, I don't know. We'll see how I feel around release, because there's a lot of games coming out between like right after August. There's like a slew of games that I'm picking up that are coming out that I'm like, I really may not have no time for this. But with Nintendo's in a position where they got the Pokemon Quest game that just released. When was it? It released last week, because they had like this whole big Pokemon conference that they had in Japan, where they announced a lot of different things. So they got the Pokemon Quest game that's free that came out, and I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people playing that. But then they've got Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and Let's Go Pikachu that's releasing in November of this year. And to me, it doesn't really look all that appealing. It doesn't look like the type of Pokemon game that I'd play. When I first seen the gameplay, I was on board a little bit with it, but then I was like, once I started like hearing more about it, no online battles and things like that, I'm just like, okay, I don't know about this. Like, this isn't. Let me pull back a little bit on this one. And then seeing that it had the Pokemon Go integration and all these other different things, I'm kind of just looking at it and I'm like, yeah, this isn't something that I'm really gonna, give a chance to, whatever. Like, I was kind of like, I'll pull back. But then the third game obviously was that they said they're gonna be making a core Pokemon RPG game, and it's coming out next year, right? So I'm like, all right, fine. That's the Pokemon game I would obviously be picking up. Yo, Barry, what's up? Yo, man, Barry, I don't know where the 7 dislikes came from, bro. Like literally, as soon as I started, I had 7 dislikes, bro. I don't know. It's whatever. But yo, shout out to Barry, man. So yeah, so with the new Pokemon coming out next year, I'm definitely looking at it like, okay, cool. So they had Kirby come out early this year. They got Mario Tennis. They got Octopath Traveler. They got a Pokemon game coming out later this year. That's gonna even though I'm a hardcore. I'm very old school with Pokemon. I started on yellow version where Pikachu used to follow you around. I had the Pikachu themed Game Boy Color. I'm very very old school when it comes to Pokemon. So these new style Pokemon games aren't really gravitating towards me, especially something like this, that Pokemon Go stuff, and then there's Pokemon Quest and this Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Like these games don't really, I'm not really the demographic of people that they're looking for with these games. X and Y was good, Sapphire, Ruby, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Those are I can deal with those. Sun and Moon, I can deal with those. But this is definitely out of my jurisdiction of what I'm willing to put my money towards in terms of Pokemon. But Pokemon is such a huge name right now that you can really slap Pokemon on anything and it'll sell realistically. So this Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, this is definitely going to sell. So Nintendo has a solid year ahead of them. In terms of like Nintendo's E3, and what I'm looking to see, I'm really just looking at Nintendo's E3 just to see what this Smash Bros. Game is. I'm looking to see if it's really a new game or if it's a port. I don't know if that was confirmed or not already. And I'm just looking at Nintendo's E3 as, just show me Super Smash Bros. You're obviously going to probably show some more of that Pokemon Let's Go. They're probably going to show more Mario Tennis and things like that. I think their conference is really going to be just focused on this year. I don't think we're going to see any gameplay for the new Pokemon game that's coming out next year. I definitely don't think we're seeing any of that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing per se. I'm someone, I want them to take their time with that. So if you're not ready to even show it on stage, then fine. Because I really want that Pokemon game to be right. We haven't seen anything about Metroid yet, so I don't know if they're going to show Metroid. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like 1 or 2 announcements. But as for this year, Nintendo really does have this year sewed up. They really do have this year wrapped around to the point where they've got their releases for this year. So people that do own a Switch do know what they're getting this year. So looking at the conference, it's pretty much, for me, I'm looking at Nintendo's conference as a reassurance of what to expect this year, and maybe get 1 or 2 announcements of what to see or what to come up for next year. Just because Nintendo moves to the beat of its own drum. So with Nintendo, oftentimes what you're seeing, what we may assume they'll do the complete opposite. We really don't even know what exactly, like this whole online stuff, for instance. They still have to like tweak that and do things with that. Nintendo's busy right now, but they do have a lot of footwork and stuff like that they have to do, that they need to fix in terms of like the console and its online perception. But in terms of games, Nintendo, they do have games, and honestly, they are getting some third-party support or some third-party games. They got Wolfenstein 2 that's coming. They got Blaze Blue Cross Tag that just released. They don't have Vampire, which released today as well. Tuesday. But Nintendo is doing a decent job. I won't say good. I won't say great. They're doing a decent job of providing a hint of third-party support, because there's still a slew of games that are coming out, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a slew of games that are going to get announced at E3 that won't be for the Switch. Some of the bigger titles won't be for the Switch, and some people will tell you that's a good thing. Like, they don't care about that. I'm somebody where, me personally, I I kind of play I play my games on my Switch, but the most of the games that I'm playing on the Switch are, like the exclusives. That's mainly what I play the games for the Switch for. But Nintendo is a part of the big three. So I do feel that all games need to be on the platform. I am a firm believer of that. Because someone is going to buy it on that platform. You feel me? Especially, with them saying that they're really serious about getting more third-party support. Uh, you know, Games like Anthem. Well, they're getting Fortnite, they're getting Paladins, which is good. But games like Anthem, Destiny, things like that. Especially if you're putting an online to an online component to the system, you definitely need to provide online intensive games, especially if you're expecting people to spend, even if it's $5 a month or $5 a year, or whatever the case may be, it's still money that you're spending. You feel me? So, there still has to be some type of perception or understanding as to, what I'm getting into when it comes to buying the online. Again, Fortnite is a great game. For people that do enjoy those games, Fortnite is definitely a great game that can be on the system and can pull in a lot of people. But, some of the big titles still aren't releasing on Switch. And again, you'll have a lot of people that'll say, oh, well, who cares? Switch has the better exclusives, whatever the case may be, whatever. There's no denying that Switch does have good exclusives. But again, the Switch is a console and a handheld, together. So it needs to be getting these games. Yo, Choco, what's going on? Cypherborg, what's good? According to Rand, stream CrackDown 3 targeting February 2019 launch date. Really? Okay, we definitely gonna break into that CrackDown 3 stuff a little later. But that's definitely good to know. That'll definitely be taken into consideration when I give my thoughts on this CrackDown 3 delay. Yo, Overdone, what is good, man? These 6 months for the Switch have been dry. I agree to an extent. The Switch, I'll say this: they've had like a decent release with the Kirby game. The Kirby game has definitely come out and it's released, and they have been getting some indies and stuff like that. But in terms of like big releases, we're starting to see those like now and towards the summer and the summer and like the fall time is when we're starting to see like a lot more of their releases, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The fact is that they are getting releases. I think that's definitely the most important part when it comes to what we're trying to do or what we expect of the Switch. Again, Mario Tennis, Super Smash Bros, the Pokemon Let's Go games, Octopath Traveler, Kirby, which released earlier this year. They're getting some decent games, man. They got some decent games down the pipeline. They do. Now, the only thing with Nintendo that I feel all the companies need to start doing, I think all the companies need to start following the Sony method, I should say. And obviously Sony didn't create this method, but Sony has been doing a good job so far of perfecting this method and really, really doing a good job of highlighting why you need to own a PlayStation. Oftentimes, when you ask somebody, oh, why do I need to own a Switch? They'll say, oh, well, it has Zelda, it has Mario Odyssey, it has Kirby, and then it can name these games, but they can't really, a lot of people can't really go past 2018. With Xbox, we can't even go past the summer. PlayStation has done a good job of letting you know, hey, look, this is what to expect in the future. The future being 2019, 2020, maybe. PlayStation's done a good job of doing that. I kind of wish Nintendo and Xbox would follow that same sentiment. I'm hoping this E3 they do. Again, Nintendo more than likely won't, but Microsoft, I'm hoping they do. But in terms of Nintendo, again, Nintendo's conference is really going to be a very cut and dry conference. It's definitely something where it's going to be very straightforward. I don't think it's going to be something where we're going to be, having to speculate what this is, what that is. I think they're going to give you what they give you. They're going to show what they show, and it's kind of just going to be like that. Which I'm not mad at, because, you know, I look at Nintendo for specific things, you know, and oftentimes Nintendo does tend to deliver on those specific things. Not all the time, but, you know, most times they do. Yo, Howard was good. Yo, Titanfall Princess in the building. Titanfall, what is going on? Appreciate you coming through. So yeah, Nintendo's gonna be very cut and dry, guys. You know, so I feel it is, at least that's my speculation. But as for Microsoft, all right, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes, man, because Microsoft is a different kind of entity, a different kind of beast. Because with Microsoft, when you look at the year that Microsoft has had, Microsoft's year hasn't been good. It's just, you know, there is no other way to say it. The year hasn't been good. And oftentimes the reason why their year hasn't been good, you know, if we highlight what's been going on, you know, Sea of Thieves released, it wasn't a hit, you know, Metacritic wise, perception wise, it just wasn't a hit. State of Decay 2 released. It released very broken, very buggy. It just wasn't a good game. It wasn't, and I played it. You know, I played Sea of Thieves. I played Sea of Thieves. I played, you know, State of Decay 2. Check my Xbox profile. I don't need to lie. I've got Game Pass. So I played them. And you know, with Microsoft, they released 2 games this year that just weren't good. You feel me? Like, the games just weren't good. Again, State of Decay 2 was a buggy mess. They just released an update this week, I think, where it's like a 20 gig update to fix a lot of bugs and things like that, which is good. You know, they are making efforts and strives to fix the game. But, you know, for the past like maybe 2 or 3 years, public perception of Microsoft has diminished severely. This year, I think the perception of Microsoft and Xbox is probably the lowest that it's ever been. And the reason why I say that is because we're at the point where we have reputable gaming news sites, journalism, and sources now making fun of Xbox. You know, when you look at these game sites, these news sources and things like that, oftentimes you're supposed to look at these people kind of like how how you look at the president of the United States, and you're supposed to say the president is supposed to be above the shenanigans. You know, when you're looking at someone that's in a position of leadership, oftentimes, even though we do know that they are also human, we tend to hold these people in a higher regard, or we tend to hold these people in a higher position or standing because of what they do, what's expected of them, things like that. So when you see companies like, you know, IGN and all these different companies making fun of, you know, Microsoft, or, you know, when we had Ryan McCaffrey verbally, you know, speaking out about how God of War is so great and how Xbox need this and things like that, the need and the perception that Xbox has right now is really at an all-time low. And to add insult to injury, you know, CrackDown 3 just now being delayed, the news of it being delayed, or rumored sources, whatever you want to call it, of it being delayed, just adds to that negative perception that Microsoft has right now. When you couple that into, you know, the Phil Spencer, you know, saying that he wants to make games a service, you know, them having a bigger focus on like backwards compatible games and those different things than really trying to create new studios and create new games, new IPs, take chances, really giving their developers times and things like that. There's a lot of things stacked against Microsoft. And one of the things that we've heard every year E3 time from, you know, fanboys, from whoever, is, oh, well, Microsoft is going to do good this year at E3. Wait till E3, guys. Wait till E3, guys. E3 is the best. That's something that we tend to constantly hear every year from Microsoft. And, you know, granted, you know, these guys, they love Xbox. They that's something that they that's something that they root for. They root for the success. You're supposed to big up your, you know, if it's a company or something like that that you really like, or something that you want to support, you're supposed to support them even in the rough times. You're supposed to support them. So whatever, right? But when it comes to what Microsoft has displayed this year, in terms of games, in terms of quality, in terms of consumer appreciation, it really hasn't been uh good. Really, it really hasn't. And again, like I said, with the Crackdown 3 news, it really just adds to that whole negative notion that people are walking into E3 like, well, let's see what Microsoft doesn't give us or do, or whatever the case may be. It's with Microsoft in their conference, what I'm looking at when it comes to Microsoft, or what I'm hoping to see from them, uh and this is just me speaking as a gamer, me speaking, no all fanboy shit to the side. um from Microsoft, and we say it every year, from Microsoft, there has to be a clear understanding of like change, a clear understanding of what the consumer wants and what they're willing to deliver. Uh, we as gamers, man, we as consumers, we, the business side of gaming, we tend to not really look at, because we're looking from the outside in. So oftentimes we're thinking as a consumer, as we should. But then sometimes it's important to put yourself in a perspective of a company, just to kind of get a glimpse or an understanding of what it is that they're going through, or what it is that they're trying to do. And for Microsoft, from what I've seen, real quick, I don't know what's up with the dislikes today. I don't know what's going on. I I don't know what is happening. Someone really must dislike me. I don't know who. Um, Shout out to y'all though, whatever. Yeah, with Microsoft and them being on the conference, one thing that I definitely want to see is them have a clear understanding of, what's expected of them. You know, we have to we have to hold these companies to a specific standard, a specific regard. People tend to nitpick and get real antsy with PlayStation and what they do, but we never get that same type of get that same type of like expectation from Microsoft. Um, from Microsoft, I'm expecting them and hoping that they will provide their consumers with quality next gen games. In terms of the winning the generation, that's out the window. That whole remember early in the gen, people say, "Oh, wait till E3. Microsoft's going to kill it. They're going to win the gen. They're going to catch up." Listen, all that is done. I'm not even thinking of that. Like, that's out the window. Nobody should be thinking like that at this point. Like, not even like Xbox fanboys. No one should be thinking, "Oh, well, Xbox may still be able to win the gen." No, 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 no. That's out the window. That's done. Just keep it moving. Lick your wounds and live to fight another day. What I'm looking for, though, is for them to provide quality next gen games for their consumers on the Xbox One. Like, I'm looking for them to they're acquiring these studios, they're buying these different things. It's clear. I think, who was that? It was Phil Spencer. He said at E3 last year, he said games take 1 to 2 years. We don't want to announce anything that's 1 to 2 years out. Which I'm just like, listen, man, you got to get something out there in the public for us to talk about. Supposedly they're acquiring more studios and doing these different things. I want to see what they have what's in the works. I want to see them provide some type of quality content for their consumers. Give people a reason to praise Xbox again, because right now, for a lot of people, man, it's hard for them to do that. It's hard to defend something that's really just messing up right now. There, I added a like to fight the haters. Appreciate that. Every minute there's one dislike being added. Yo, I appreciate y'all. I honestly do. It's all good, man. Let the haters hate. Um, but when it comes to Microsoft again, there's somebody that has to really work hard to convince consumers and convince gamers that they are they're in this to provide content. Because as of right now, they can't catch a break, man. The games that they're releasing just aren't hitting. You know, again, Metacritic wise, uh, all those different things that it's just not hitting. When it comes to Microsoft, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, whoever, they really have to get into the mindset of really providing content, or not content, no, really providing games, next gen games for the consumers. People went out, they bought the Xbox One X, they bought the Xbox One X, and they need to provide content that complements the Xbox One X. That's very important. PlayStation has done a good job of providing content that does complement the PlayStation 4 Pro. And again, PlayStation's not perfect, but they damn close. They damn close right now. So it's definitely is there like one salty Xbox with over 15 accounts, switching accounts? I don't know, man. But yeah, so when it comes to Xbox, I'm expecting to see some type of change, some type of overhaul, some type of threshold that's been broken through to a land of understanding of what needs to be done to provide a quality experience on the Xbox. I'm hoping that they have some new IPs under their belt. I'm hoping they got there's talks of 3 Gears games being in the works. Listen, I like Gears as much as the next person. They were talking about like a battle royale, an RTS, and then just a regular new game, and I'm like, I don't know. I think it's too soon to even talk about Gears because that just came out 2016. What are we in 2018? It's a little too soon. Halo, I get it. Halo. What is it? I think it was Halo Infinite or Halo 6 that got leaked or that they were speculating. Yeah, I get it. Halo is Halo, and they'll definitely. I think right now they're definitely gonna announce a Halo game. I don't think it's gonna come out this year. I definitely think that'll be a 2019 title, if anything. But then that's another thing. It's like, especially with CrackDown being delayed. Like, what does the rest of the year look like? It's like even after E3, people are probably be walking out of there thinking to themselves, "Damn, like I gotta wait even longer to play games on the Xbox." And again, that goes back to the perception of Xbox and the situation that they're in right now, where it's like, even if there is a good conference, people are still gonna walk out of there, thinking, "Oh well, I still gotta wait." You feel me? And that's everyone's different. I don't know. Some people may walk out of there hype and happy and content with just that, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a demographic of people that will still walk out of there thinking, "Damn, I still have to wait a year or so for games." So I'm hoping that whatever they do show, I'm hoping that there is definitely something that's releasing this year, this summer, this month, this week, whatever. What's up with all the dislikes, fam? Yo, Fury, what's good, man? Yo, I don't even know what's up with the dislikes, man. I normally I don't know. The dislikes is coming today, man. Appreciate you coming through though, Fury. Definitely do. But yeah, so Microsoft's in a position that they're in. We've all beaten Microsoft down. It's like beating a dead horse, but you have to speak on the things that's happening within the community. And one of the things that's happening within the community is the lack of games for Xbox. You know, you have to speak on that until something changes. Because once you become content with the quality, then you get what we have. You know, you get what we get now, and it's like, you know, you constantly have to speak on an issue you have to constantly speak on an issue. You feel me? You got to speak on it. So, you know, I know there's people that like to say, oh, well, you know, everybody's always talking about Xbox, you know, talk about something else. And it's like, well, tell Xbox to change and put some quality games out and people will stop talking about it, man. Come on. Like, everybody's worried about people not talking about the Xbox, but people aren't willing to address the issues with Xbox. You know, there's a difference between, you know, bashing a console and addressing the issues of a console. You know, bashing a console is just bashing. You know, that's you bothering developers and doing all these different things, whatever. But then, you know, bringing awareness and speaking on the issues of a product or the issues of a console, whatever the case may be, issues with a game, it's two different things. That's two very different things. And I think that's where the misconception comes from with some people when they hear quote unquote PlayStation guys, or quote unquote when they hear people that isn't pro Xbox speak on Xbox. They assume that it's bashing because you're speaking on the negative. No, it's not me bashing. It's not, you know, Barry bashing or anybody I know that pro PlayStation bashing. It's speaking on the issues. You feel me? So yeah, I mean, and again, speaking on the issues and getting a laugh out of it, I listen, man, sometimes things are funny. I have a dark sense of humor, so things are funny. You know, things are very funny to me. Yo, Andrew Wilkins in the building. Andrew, what's good? Supposedly, an Xbox executive just told someone at Windows Central, CrackDown is coming in February. Ooh, we're gonna touch on that. We definitely gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on that. But yeah, so let's get into Sony real quick. With Sony, I really don't need to speak too heavily about them, just because we all know what Sony is doing right now. We all know the quality that Sony is providing. We all know Sony is keeping it real right now. I'm about to sound like a fanboy. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna speak on it real quick. Yo, Crunk Girl in the building. Miss Bailey, what's good, baby? So with Sony, man, Sony right now this year for Sony has been so great. It really has been like a Disney movie with these dudes. Like, it's been really magical. The things that Sony has been doing, from, you know, them with the Game Informer media exposés that they've been doing to highlight their exclusives, to switching up their exclusives to releasing on Fridays, to, you know, them just, you know, really having good consumer engagement, putting out quality games, really, you know, keeping in contact with the consumers, keeping us up to date, keeping us informed, keeping us in the know of what PlayStation is doing, and also reassuring us that their focus and what they're most focused on doing is providing quality next-gen first-party exclusives. I know we've had John Cordera, which is the new Sony Interactive Entertainment president and chief. Executive. He's a new exec. He took over Andrew House's position. Once he took over, you know, people were worried because House was leaving and a couple other people were leaving. So people were worried that with management changing, that, you know, PlayStation would be on a decline in terms of quality, in terms of exclusives, in terms of things like that. But yo, John Cordera, he came through. He was like, listen, I'm here to work. John Cordera's like, I'm here to work, man. I'm here to provide a better experience for PlayStation Plus. He said, I'm here to ensure y'all, him and Sean Layden, they was like, listen, we are reassuring our consumers that although we are undergoing new managerial switches and things like that, and new managers taking positions, we want to ensure you guys that the quality and the games are always going to be there. They're going to continue to come. They're going to continue to flourish. And honestly, man, I can't be more, as a consumer, as a PlayStation gamer, or someone that loves PlayStation, that's played, you know, PlayStation quite a lot. Me as a consumer, I'm very happy right now. And when it comes to their conference, One thing that I do love that they're doing this year so far is the whole countdown to E3. Last year they did the E3 pre-show, which was like an hour and a half, where they announced a lot of games. They announced a lot of games. They talked about a lot of different things, and they got some of the smaller announcements out the way, which I did like that last year. Some things did fall under the radar, but they definitely did do a good job of keeping things central and in a consolidated area where it's like, okay, this is what this is that, this is this and that, just so that there's not a whole bunch of announcements all over the place. What I like even more about this year is that they're switching it up and they're doing the countdown to E3, where every day leading up to E3, they're going to be announcing something new. Yesterday they announced Tetris for PlayStation VR, with VR support. Today they announced the release date for Days Gone, which is February 22nd, 2019. They really have been doing a good job of keeping their consumers in the know. And another thing that they've done good is they've done good of explaining or letting the consumer know why you need to own a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 4 Pro in the future. Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, what else? Spider-Man, Spider-Man, what else? I'm trying to think. I can't think of the other games right now. And then whatever they announced at E3. So pretty much going into the E3, man, my expectations for them are in check because, again, John Cadera also said that they're in the final life cycle of PlayStation 4, meaning that they're starting to wind down. So because they're starting to wind down, we'll tend to, I don't think this E3 is going to be too crazy. Honestly, I don't think they'll be able to top 2016 E3, I think, ever again, at least not this generation. I don't think so. I think next gen is when we'll get that 2016 style E3 again and that type of hype and excitement. And again, I do think they will, it's going to be good to see them go dive deep into like Ghost of Tsushima, finally see some gameplay for Death Stranding and things like that. Finally see gameplay for Last of Us. That's really where my excitement is kind of focused on when it comes to PlayStation, because again, PlayStation, they've announced so much, they have so much out there already, so much new, so much things to expect from them. So it's like going into E3, I'm looking at it like, okay, I'm excited for Sony's E3, but it's different this time. I'm not excited for the announcements. I'm more so excited for the gameplay reveals, for the release date reveals, things like that is what I'm kind of looking at PlayStation's E3 for this year. There has been speculation of like SOCOM might be there. There has been speculation of like we might be getting Bloodborne 2 and things like that, which is, very possible that we might. But at the same time, I definitely do think and feel that we more than likely, for me at least, I'm kind of just looking at it like, I want to see gameplay of like these games, as in especially Ghost of Tsushima, because Ghost of Tsushima, that really has me like intrigued to the point where, I really want to like get some gameplay footage of that so I can really analyze it and really speak on it and really like get a glimpse of what's to come. Same thing with Last of Us 2, man. Last of Us 1 was such a great game. I'm really excited to see Last of Us 2. So again, with Sony's E3, I'm more so going into it looking and expecting gameplay. We may get some new announcements, which is cool. I'm not expecting no PS5 or nothing like that. But we'll definitely get some new announcements or something like that. Oh no. Ooh-wee. Look at this guy. There you go. But yeah, the trolls out today. Oh boy. But yeah, that's kind of my three for the big three in terms of E3. I definitely will keep my expectations in check, but I'm still hyped for the games. Uh, I'm still hyped for E3. E3, I get hype every year, but going into the conferences, I always tend to keep my expectations, or try to. I always say I'm gonna try to keep my expectations in check, and then oftentimes I don't. Not all the time. Sometimes you'll see, like, whenever we do like the after shows, or we speak on like stuff after E3, I tend to be hella hype, and I'm ready. I'm pre-ordering this, I'm pre-ordering that. So don't be surprised if you see me posting up pre-order videos. I mean pre-order pics on Twitter of things that like I'm pre-ordering or whatever. So don't be surprised if you see that. But again, E3 is always a great time of year. I'm hoping everyone delivers, everyone does good, especially like the smaller conferences like Square Enix, EA, and things like that. They're going to show games or whatever. I'm more so excited for Square Enix more so than any of the other other conferences outside of the big three, just because Square Enix is going to show me I need to see that Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm very hyped for that. That's a day one for me. I definitely need to see more gameplay of that, to get a release date, especially if Kingdom Hearts, if Square Enix does their conference and it tells me that Kingdom Hearts 3 is releasing this year. Man, listen, I already told myself, if Kingdom Hearts released around Red Dead and it releases around Call of Duty and all these different games, they're all gonna have to take a back seat because Kingdom Hearts comes first. So I'm just saying. So I hope it releases in like November, December, because September is very packed as it is. I was only planning on getting Spider-Man, Dragon Quest 11, Spyro for September, but now I may snatch up Code Vein, because Code Vein is also releasing in September. So I'm kind of looking at it like, oh my god, it's really going to be a bad month. And then October I'm picking up Call of Duty and Red Dead. So it's it's bad this fall, guys. It really is bad this holiday. It's bad. It's bad, and I hate that they do this. Nah, Fury, I'm not getting Tomb Raider, man. I'm a pass on that. Only because I have the second Tomb Raider game and I didn't finish it. And not because it's a bad game. I just didn't have the will to finish the game. I keep saying I'm gonna finish it, but I still got to go back and finish it. So I don't want to pick up the third game without having beaten the second one. And I've got so many other games on my plate right now that I'm trying to finish, and platinums and stuff like that. So Tomb Raider is really back of the line in terms of games that I need to finish. So I'm just going to pass on the third one. If it's a price drop or whatever, a decent price, I may pick it up. But as for me picking it up day one, nah. No Tomb Raider for me. Same thing with Battlefield, man. Battlefield 5, it looks good. In terms of, the little teaser that we saw, the teaser looked cool, the trailer, whatever, but I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up either, just because Call of Duty. COD is really my go-to shooter in terms of first-person shooters right now. So I don't even think I'm gonna pick that up. Red Dead, I've never played Red Dead before. And my boy, he keeps telling me, pick the game up, you're gonna love it. So I'm gonna pick that up and give it a try. I'm intrigued. So yeah, I'm hyped. What's funny? I'm really hyped for Code Vein. And the reason why I think I'm most hyped for Code Vein is because of the art style. The art style and the combat and the way it looks, and the story. Like that story trailer that they released this week definitely looked really good and really just pulled me in even more. So I'm really, really hyped for Code Vein. I'm really excited for that. Very excited. So I definitely have to pick that up. I really do. But so that's the whole E3 final thoughts, man. Definitely be on the lookout, because I will be doing live reactions and after shows for all the E3 conferences. Barry's going to do the live reaction and after show for Sony's conference, so make sure you check out his channel. And I'll be doing, EA and Microsoft and stuff like that on my channel. So definitely, if you guys haven't already, subscribe. But with that being said, let's jump into this CrackDown 3 delay real quick. So shout out to Kotaku. Shout out to Jason Schreier, which is the guy who wrote the article up about the Crackdown 3 delay last night. And it's funny because last night I was streaming Vampire, and I happened to just look at my phone because Kotaku. I have Kotaku on. I follow them on Twitter, and I have the notification set for them. So whenever an article breaks or whenever they post something, you know, I automatically get a notification about it. I got it for a couple of news sites and stuff. And so when I looked, I had to make sure, like, because I looked and I was like, what? So I had to pause my stream real quick. Like, I was just, and if you watch the stream yesterday, you'll see I was like sitting there going like, yo, this is crazy. I gotta tell Barry, holy shit. So I looked on Twitter and I saw that, you know, it said rumor Crackdown 3 delayed, sources says, whatever, right? So at first I thought this was like some troll shit. I'm like, all right, hold up. hold up. This can't be happening. This isn't true, right? I'm dreaming. So when it was confirmed, and that, and the writer Jason Schreier, he, Penny was just like, yo, man, this ain't no bullshit or whatever. I'm just sitting there like, yo. I thought it was kind of funny at first. I ain't even going front. Xbox got the most cake. That's all that matters at the end of the day. What Barry say? What Barry say? Y'all about to steal something that Barry says. Xbox still gets the money. Yo, man, stop it, bro. That come on, Starboy, stop. So yeah, so when I saw that, first thing that came to my mind was, this isn't good. This isn't good. Just because people were already talking about the game might get canceled. Right? So that within itself was like lingering a little bit because we hadn't heard nothing about it for so long and things like that. So, a lot of people, oh, well, you don't hear about a game for so long, it's getting canceled, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, it's about to go the way of Scalebound. Whatever, right? So then, when you think about how Microsoft has been having a really bad year so far, I'm thinking in my head, this is the last thing that Microsoft needs, because with the year that they've been having, you don't need no bad press like this. And not only that, but with E3, literally, how many more days we got of E3? Today's what, Thursday? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. Their E3 conference is literally 3 days away. You don't want to have this lingering or something like this in the air, out in the open, going into E3. Because people, you know how people are, man. People like to have these notions and have these thoughts and perceptions. Again, perception, that's the key word of this podcast, guys. Perception. Because perception is very important when it comes to these console success. How do you perceive the Xbox? How do you perceive Nintendo? How do you perceive Sony, right? What were people saying about Sony at the beginning of this generation? No Xbox podcast even talking about Pony Station. Oh boy, listen to this guy. Yeah, so what are the things that people have been saying about PlayStation at the beginning of the gen? PlayStation was a delay station for. Remember that whole joke, delay station, all that stuff? So it's kind of ironic to see the situation and the things that Xbox is going through right now. Just seeing how some of the fanboys and things like that were kind of speaking on PlayStation in the beginning. But with Crackdown 3 being delayed, it really does hurt the narrative, or really does hurt the perception of Xbox even more, just because it's been what? When did Crackdown 3 get announced? 2014? Yeah, 2014. And you have to assume if a game gets announced in 2014, it has to be in development maybe 2 to 3 years prior to that. Maybe I'll say 1 to 3. I'll say 1 to 3 years prior to it being announced. So you figure 1 to 3 years. It got announced in 2014. It's now 2018, and we're still waiting on this game. So that's like what, 6, 7 years? if you count the development time prior to it being announced at an E3. So it's like when you see that and you see like what this game is going through and what Xbox is going through, you really have to ask yourself like, yo, what is wrong with this game? What are they doing with this game? You know, are they delaying the game to make it better? More than likely so, yeah. They're making changes and things like that. You know, granted, I'm not saying that. And this is something that I want to also help make sure people understand. I'm not saying that it's wrong for games to be delayed, because PlayStation has delayed games, Nintendo's, you know, people delay games, developers delay games. The notion here isn't to bash CrackDown for being delayed. The notion here is to bring an understanding to the perception of it being delayed. Because again, this game, the year that Microsoft's been having, this game now being delayed, them 3 days before E3, last year not being a good year, them saying single player games don't matter, them trying to do a service, them focusing more on backwards compatibility, them like all of it is being rounded up, and it's being exhumed or expressed through people, because it's not, people aren't just mad at the delay. And that's what people have to understand. Yes, the delay is bad. Yes, the delay, you know, again, the developers need time to work on a game. You know, we all understand that. We all understand that. Trust me. And I'm talking the level-headed people. I'm not talking, the crazy radicals, radical zealots that speaking how they speak. I'm only speaking in terms of like, people that's really trying to really bring an understanding to this. So CrackDown 3 being delayed isn't the problem. The problem is CrackDown being delayed for over 4 years. The problem is the lack of quality exclusives for over 2 years. The problem is people paying $500 for a console and not getting a return on that investment. The problem is them not being transparent in what their plan is. All of that is what's bundled into this. So when you see things like this, CrackDown 3 being delayed on top of what's already going on in the Microsoft camp or the Microsoft office, the outrage is going to be there. The problem is there. This is obviously a problem. The cancellations, the delays, the cancellations, things like all that stuff is becoming a pattern. You feel me? It's a pattern. It's becoming a problem. Games being delayed and still releasing broken or not good. Same thing with Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves got delayed or still released, not good. So it's not, this is a pattern that we're seeing. So something needs to change. Something needs to be understood. Something needs to happen here. Something needs to happen here for Microsoft to understand, for developers to understand that, this is serious. This is a problem. This is a problem. There's no easy way to say it. There's no easy way to sugarcoat it. And again, you're gonna have people that are gonna listen to this. And I said this to somebody on Twitter earlier this week. All right, Choco, appreciate you coming through, Choco. This is one of the things that I said to somebody this week. Part of the problem with people, and this is not just gamers, this is just a lot of people. This is just people in general, I should say. Oftentimes with some people, RD, what's good? Almighty, what's good, man? Appreciate y'all coming through. Part of the problem with people, and when it comes to speaking about something that they believe in or something that they hold dear to themselves, part of the problem is people tend to listen to react. You ever be listening to somebody speak, but you're thinking in your mind about what you're going to say back? If you're thinking in your mind what your response is going to be, you're not listening. Sometimes it's important to listen to understand. People aren't listening to understand. People aren't reading to understand. People are reading to react. People are listening to react. They're not listening to understand. And that's part of the problem. You know, you'll have someone that's pro Xbox that'll come in here and think, oh, you know, you're bashing Xbox, when in reality you're speaking on the problems, the patterns, the perception. This, like, you can't tell me as a gamer, you can't tell me as a consumer that this isn't a problem. Like, you can't tell me this isn't a problem. And again, games do get delayed. That is not the problem here. The problem is we've been waiting 4 years for the game. The problem is the pattern of what keeps happening. The problem is the perception. Again, key word of this podcast, perception. That is the problem here. Xbox right now is perceived as a failure. That's a problem. And it only gets shown or exposed more through things like this. The delays, the lack of content, the lack of next-gen exclusives, the cancellations, all of it is there. So the Crackdown delay, it sucks. It really does suck. But I do hope that Xbox does put something out this year. Something. You have to put something out. You have to, because right now your competition is demolishing. And people say, "Oh, well, you know, who cares about competition?" What? Like, yo, these companies care about that stuff, man. Believe it or not. Even when they tell you in these interviews and stuff like that, oh, we're working on a different thing. We're working to a different beat. We're doing these different. No, listen, it's a competition. Okay, trust me. It's a competition. And in competitions, survival of the fittest. Right now, PlayStation is killing it. PlayStation's on top. The Switch came out literally a year ago, and it's passing Xbox in the UK. These are problems. These are problems. So, the Crackdown 3 delay. Who is it that said? I think Overdone or Playbox. One of you guys said to me that Rand had said the game was going to release in February 2019. We'll see. I wonder if they're going to address this during E3. I don't think so. Or address this during Inside Xbox or something like that. I don't know. Now, if it turns out that, you know, the leak of it being delayed is wrong, then, you know, we all going to be eating crow. I take my crow fried. But until then, this is the reality. So I don't know what else to say. It's unfortunate. I feel bad for the people that truly have been waiting for this game and really want to play this game. It really is unfortunate. But I know where there are games that you can play. That PlayStation 4, baby. Oh man, but yeah, man, that's my thoughts on Crackdown 3, man. Yeah, you know, we'll see what happens, man. E3 is literally 2 days away. You know, we're kicking it off with EA's conference. And then Sunday is Microsoft and Bethesda. Monday, Square Enix, Ubisoft, and Sony. And Tuesday is Nintendo and the PC Game Show. I think PC Game Show's Tuesday, or it might be Monday. I don't really care about the PC Game Show, so I don't really watch that. But yeah, so those, you know, we're kicking off E3. I gave my final thoughts. And yo, Fury, if they release Crackdown 3 the same week as Days Gone, we'll see. That would be interesting to see those two games go head to head to see which one gets bought more. That'd be dope. Days Gone has a release date. Shake my head. More L's for the Doogie box. And you know what it is too. Before I get up out of here, we've had games that have gotten announced at later dates then CrackDown 3, release before CrackDown 3. That's also what the problem is. And we're talking exclusives. We're not talking third party. We're talking exclusives. Exclusives. That's a problem. Think about that. But yeah, man, I definitely do appreciate you guys coming through, man. I really do appreciate the support. I even appreciate the dislikes, man. Shout out to the dislike squad. Thank you for the views. I honestly, I like literally as soon as I started the podcast, I started getting like 10, 15 dislikes, and I don't know where that stems from. I ain't really too worried about it. I mean, it's whatever. Let the dislikes keep coming. But I definitely do appreciate everyone that supports the podcast. I appreciate everyone that supports Mind of a Gamer as well. Really do appreciate you guys that do support the channel. Make sure you guys also check out Mr. Official VG Demigod Reviews. Make sure you guys check out the Jay Barry Show. He does it every week on his channel. And also make sure you guys check out Plus on Block Podcast every week. Every Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Upchuck Gaming channel. The link to both of those channels are in the description. Also, check out the Online Arcade. You can follow us on Twitter at the Online Arcade, and you can follow us on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitch at the Online Arcade. Links is in the description. And if you want to sign up for any of our tournaments, you can sign up. The link is in the description as well. Also, what else? Oh, yo, there's a grudge match, a really, really dope grudge match happening tomorrow. Stop spreading misinformation. Oh man, these Xbox guys are funny. Yeah, so there's a really dope grudge match happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, Saturday. Oh, no, not tomorrow. No, not Friday. Saturday. A dope grudge match happening Saturday on the Online Arcade Twitch channel. It's gonna be between Jay Barry and Upchuck Gaming. They're gonna have a 1st to 15 in Blaze Blue cross tag battle, and I'm gonna be commentating that grudge match, and I really am excited to see that grudge match, man, because these two dudes, man, they are beasts with their respective characters on Blaze Blue. I know they've been in the lab, and you see, if you follow their channels, you see the content they posting up. They posting up matches that they doing. They posting up little combo videos and stuff like that on Twitter. Listen, man, these guys is beast. They beast. So I'm really excited to really be a part of that and really to see that unfold. So 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday is when that grudge match is happening on the Online Arcade, on the Online Arcade's Twitch channel. So if you haven't already, follow the Online Arcade Twitch channel. A lot of good content, a lot of good things. There's no podcast this Saturday. Mind of Gamer podcast is going to be this Saturday. It's going to be it's going to be Sunday, and Sunday is when we're going to do the podcast, the E3 podcast, pretty much live reactions and after show for Microsoft. That's when we'll be starting. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you guys check that out. And I think that's it, man. Again, I do appreciate y'all. Oh yeah, the E3 schedule. So pretty much our E3 schedule is going to coincide with E3 schedule. So we're not going to do EAs. We might do EAs on Saturday. EAs on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is at 3. No, is it 12? At 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Eastern. And then Sunday is going to be Microsoft, which is at 1, which is at 3 or at 4 Eastern time. But don't be on the lookout because I have to talk to the fellas about the schedule and how they want to do it. I know Barry is going to do the Sony conference on his channel on Monday, which is at 9 o'clock Eastern time, which is the Sony show, which is, he's going to do the live reactions. I'll be there. I'm sure Kev will be there, Demi, the council, TOA, we'll all be there, cracking jokes, laughing, talking or whatever. And then we'll obviously do the after show on his channel as well. But be on the lookout for the schedule from me. I'm gonna post it up on Twitter this evening. Definitely gonna post it up this evening. I just gotta talk to the fella to see which days they can make it, and go from there. But yeah, man. So it's been When Persona Speaks, episode 19, man. I really do appreciate you guys' support. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great evening. And I'll see you guys Sunday, man. E3 is going to be so fun. It's going to be so great. I can't wait to. Ooh, I can't wait because it's going to be a lot of damage control. It's going to be a lot. And I'm excited. But yeah, man, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace, peace, peace.